Well, it's been almost a year since you came to Korea, and some may view this as a short time or some as a long time. We've collected some images of Bob with Edelman Crew. Shall we take a look? Okay.
This is the amusing part of the interview, okay.
So we've talked a bit about your professionalism in Korea. Maybe you could talk to us a bit about your management, though, and about your company itself. You know, the Korean PR market is growing at a very fast pace.
It is.
How much further do you think Korean PR will change? 앞으로 한국에서 PR 시장이 얼마나 더
The market is growing radically fast because it is changing so fast, and I think it's going to change a lot more in the future. Edelman has become the fastest growing PR agency in Korea because we have been ahead of that change curve. In fact, if anything, we are a leader of that change, a catalyst of some of the new things being done in this market for the very first time that have never been done before. And we're proud of our accomplishments, but we aren't complacent about our success. We are now setting a new standard of quality that in the future we hope to work with the rest of our industry colleagues to advance to the benefit of the profession and to the benefit of companies that we believe, especially the Korean companies, will invest more in PR, seeking to get a higher return on their investment in what we regard as a valuable business service.
Now, in addition to just all this business and so forth, I hear that you pursue a fun office atmosphere. Can you tell us a bit about this? That's what it says, dude.
Does it say that? A fun atmosphere?
Fun office atmosphere.
You should come here at midnight.
I can ask you with this question.
No, it's perfect.
No, it's great.
Yeah, no, let's keep it in there.
Flat, young.
Yeah. I will now answer properly. I think it's fun to do these really exciting, pioneering things that have never been done before, and our coworkers agree with that. It's really the University of Edelman at our office. We're learning all these exciting things, and we're applying the wisdom and experience we have to our clients. Think about it. All of these people who want to tell these exciting stories to a marketplace that's just brimming with excitement, brimming with potential. I can't think of a better place to be than in the PR industry. It's a business where it's an information business. We're at the most senior level of corporate life in Korea. We get a chance to offer some really important advice about some very challenging and stimulating issues that really matter to the audiences that they impact upon. And so that is why together our office has, here I am talking about the fun office, talking about this really serious issue.
And do you think your employees would agree to that?
It says that? Do I think my employees would agree? It says that too?
No.
It actually says.
Would they agree? I mean, that's if I'm like.
It actually says, on these points, what would Edelman's staff think about that, or say about that?
Well, I'd like to think that the Edelman staff believe that they are attending the University of Edelman. This is a place where continuous improvement, lifelong learning, a constant innovation is all part of the daily life. There are very few businesses you can work in where you have the chance to grow and to excel in a thoroughly international, profoundly modern environment. And certainly Edelman in Korea offers that for our fast-growing workplace. It's a fun workplace, but it's doubled in size. Soon it will triple in size. So if growth is fun, then I guess we're the most fun PR agency in Korea.
Well, now that we've talked about learning, actually, that's quite interesting, because I've heard that you've held some lectures for university students. How did you find those lectures?
Being an effective PR practitioner means engaging in two-way dialogue. It's not just about top-down communication. It's a two-way street. First you listen to people, and then you make a decision, and then you act. And that is what we advise our clients with respect to communication. We know that this country has more new PR talent studying through its universities than any other in the world. And with the benefit of more experience combined with the traditional Korean work ethic, the Korean PR practitioner will be the very best in the world in a very short period of time. And so I've been speaking with the university students to not only tell the Edelman story, but also to do our part to help guide the professionalism, to help increase the sophistication of an industry that we are leading, and an industry that we think is set to explode in size, and an opportunity for those students.
And which college did you enjoy the most?
that what it says?
That's a Christopher John input.
That's the John trick question.
Just in case.
Oh, you can well imagine that both schools with such fine reputations, each offered a wonderful and distinct experience. I think the prettier girls were at Ewell.
Okay.
And ask me the anything to add question. Or are there more questions? Okay.
There's a politics angle.
Okay, good, okay.
You started working in politics at a young age, from my understanding. If you continued in this field, perhaps we could see you in the political section of newspapers soon. Now we find you in the economic section. Is there a special reason why you switched from PR? Switched to PR from politics?
There's a huge difference between political communication and corporate communication. Did I just say difference or similarity?
Difference.
I meant to say similarity. There's a huge similarity between corporate PR, corporate communications, and government communications. In the government, you, at election time, you put the PR spotlight on a political leader, on the slate of candidates and on the party policies. Working on the corporate side, you promote the CEO, the corporate mission and vision, and the characteristics of the different products. At the end of the day, it is the individual who decides. The collected number of votes a candidate receives at election time determines that result, and the number of people who make individual purchase decisions defines the winner and the loser in the business context. So I found it a seamless communications transition from one environment to the next, applying the lessons from one area to the very similar challenges of the other domain. I look for people at Edelman who have had an interest in politics and who have had political experience because of the portability of such skills.
Now you mentioned about working with world-renowned CEOs, picture of Gates and Trump. What is some of the most memorable, fulfilling experiences that you've had in the PR field as a whole?
Doing things for the first time that have never been done before. Establishing a technology practice for the first time 10 years ago, before there were different resources focused on doing technology PR. Taking an office into the United States market. There had never been a Canadian-owned firm there before. I did the first one. And here in Korea, creating a truly explosive combination of talent together. This wonderful Korean team doing all these amazing things in a pioneering fashion to give our clients a certainty of positive outcome that have made us the fastest growing PR firm in this country today.
Now, before we come back to the business topics, if you could tell us a little bit about your travels. I've read that you've traveled over all 50 U.S. states and 32 countries. Can you tell us a bit about those experiences and what they gave you?
Those experiences told me that I chose the right profession because around this world, no matter where you go, communications are important. The dialogue between different people, the dialogue between different stakeholder groups is of massive importance. And so by learning about new cultures, new languages, learning how to speak in one country differently from how you speak in another country, that makes for the most magical communication possible, because that way you can become a truly international communicator, which I think is PR at its very best. There's no value, in my view, in doing PR the American way around the world, or just in doing PR the Korean way in Korea. I think the best way is to learn from all of these different places and combine them under one roof, which is why Edelman, of all the multinationals, is the most truly international PR firm. Citizens of the world who have applied these lessons to the building here in Korea of what is the fastest growing PR agency today.
So having visited all these memorable places, where would you say are some of your favorites?
Well, I'd have to say Korea.
Where in Korea?
Busan.
Why Busan?
Because of the miniature version of the Kyobo building. How would I answer that question? Well,
Most memorable places?
it's too suck-uppy to say Korea, right?
Yeah, that'd be. I mean, it could be one of many, one of three.
Well, Korea is one of many, but I'd have to say that, it's those cities that have this natural, beautiful setting, like Vancouver in my home country of Canada, Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, Hong Kong.
East meets west. Ideal.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, East meets West, okay.
Yeah.